What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. This lake gets so muddy so quick. I don't really know what that's gonna do for the fishing today. Definitely different conditions. I'm gonna run and try to get away from this mud. The creek that I'm in, the creek that I live in, that I put in at, is definitely muddy. So I'm gonna get out of here. There's actually a couple places that I wanted to fish in this creek, but I'm just gonna go try to find clean water first and see if that can do the trick. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying the content. Please drop a comment down below if you have. And one thing I wanted to mention is I didn't mention this in the other videos because like the way that I filmed and edited them, I hadn't even looked at the comments. Remember that there was a couple videos back where if you commented what you've learned from my channel, you could win that pack of 6 cent stuff. Well, this is actually the first video that I've shot since I've read those comments. And man, I tell you what, that is the most meaningful thing that y'all have done in my channel for a long time, maybe possibly ever in my channel. Just reading some of those old comments. And the thing that is so special to me is that I genuinely have impacted some of your lives, and that's like fishing lives wise. And some of you was even a lot deeper meaning than just fishing. So man, it's so cool to read that. Like that's not why I started this. Well, I started the channel to try to teach, but you never expect to, you know, have that effect on somebody, like a real deal, for real meaning. These people saying, I learned how to do this because of you. I learned how to do this because of you. I learned persistency. I learned, you know, the hard work, and that you see me doing fishing and Y'all Sweet Tea and different business in our house and like chasing dreams and stuff. That's really cool. It's just cool. Like I never expected that. So to read those comments was really cool. And my hair's probably crazy. Brought back the OG hat. One of my favorite comments was, glad to see you back fishing. It was actually the guy who won that pack. He said something about, glad to see you back fishing. Hope you bring back your good luck hat. And it was so cool to me because like that was my thing back then, was this was my good luck hat. And I actually bought 2 of them because I knew that this bill was gonna like wear out over time. It was gonna be, it looked like it does. And 6 cents doesn't even make this hat anymore, but this was my good luck hat for so long. I caught so many big ones that year in this hat. And so I went in the closet and found it, and it was just special. Like seeing that kind of stuff was just really cool. So thank you all so much for the comments. The guy that I picked wasn't maybe the most sentimental comment, or like there was a lot of really special stuff that I read, but it was my favorite just because the hat thing, and it was just really cool. But I think to see, like, look back and some of the people that remembered specific videos that were way old that I had even forgot, just seeing some of that stuff was really special. So thank you guys for that. You talk about not the right tool for the job. I'm about to swim a jig on a 7.7 heavy, but it's kind of all I got right now because everything else I need to throw. And I took a lot of rods out of my boat, so I got some rods coming in. So y'all want to see another trick for the summertime? Take your spoon and put a treble hook on the line. Just put it straight on the line above it. I'll show y'all, remind me of this in the summertime when I catch fish on it. I got a video that I never posted about that. It's good. Catch a lot more fish on it that way. The Stroker Crawl is one of my favorite swim jig trailers because you can keep the tails attached or open the tails up where it has a lot more action, so you can kind of control the amount of action that it has, which is a great feature. Also, guys, specifically Mountain Woods Lake people, but anybody that watches these videos in general, fish the moment. Don't just go fish where you see people fish at. Like, go fish the moment. The water's muddy in this creek. I caught that big fish 4 days ago. I know I could go back over there and probably catch one, but the water's not right. The conditions aren't right. I'm reading the conditions and trying to fish based off the moment. And so I think that's important. You see somebody fish, or you see, even if you caught one at a place in the past, that doesn't mean that you can just always go there and just ruin that spot or kill that spot. Go find your own fish. Go find something new. You know, fish the moment. Live in the moment and learn. That's what I did last weekend, and it felt so good to put together a pattern, catch fish, and then let the fish tell me what was going on, versus just going back to the same places. Because I promise you, there's places all over this lake. I've got brush piles marked that no one knows about, or I would assume no one knows about. I've never seen anybody fish them, and I could catch 18 pounds nearly almost every single time I come to this lake, almost every single time offshore. But yes, that's fun at certain times, but also there's a lot of times where I just want to learn more about the lake, and so just trying something new. That's all I got. I'm going fishing. There we go. There we go. Came out of that treetop. You know I wasn't going to let you just bite that and keep swimming, buddy. You knew I wasn't going to. Oh, jigger. There we go, another one on a jig. How about that cast and everything? I mean, that was a cluster right there. I got one off that tree right there. It's like a big one. It's a fighter. It ain't big, it's just an old spot, I think. Yep, it's a spot. Came right off that one log right there. Oh, fat freaking spot too. Look how fat he is. Just old chubbered fatty. And that's how you use a plug knocker. Hopefully you all saw all that. Sorry I didn't really walk you through it, but it's just lead on a clip. Hook it to your line, it slides down your line perfectly, and get your bait unhung, buddy. Alright, here's how you use your plug knocker one more time. Got my bait hung up right here below me. I'm going to open up this snap. And I'm going to try to stay right above the bait where it's hung up at. Clip the snap back in and then drop it straight down. That weight's going to hit your bait, and then you just snap it up and it comes right up. So my bait was hung up on a limb, some kind of wood, and then the weight of this plug knocker hits the bait, drags it down, and then unhangs it off whatever you're hung up on. Very, very, very simple to use. This thing costs about, I don't know, $1, and it just saved me $7 twice in a row. Well guys, that's going to wrap up this very random fishing video, and I've got a couple of things to talk about. One, thanks for being patient with my channel. I'm still fishing a bunch. The fishing's just tough, and I don't have all the time that I'd like to be able to go fish and just spend hours and hours and hours trying to figure the fish out. So when I have those opportunities, I've been fishing. But as you can see from this video, there's 2 random days piled together, and then I'm trying to put together in my mind what's going on with the fish based off of these 2 fishing trips that were about a week apart from each other. So the first, obviously, couple of fish catches I caught on, well, I know one of them was caught on this guy right here. This is a Berkley Fritz side, the flat side square bill, and I bought it because there's so much hype on it right now in the fishing industry, and I wanted to try it out, just give an honest opinion on it because it looks really good in the pack. They have a lot of really good colors, and you know, I'm a fan of fishing tackle, so I bought it. The only thing I don't like about it, and I don't honestly, I don't have a ton of experience using flat side like Tennessee OG square bills, flat sides, wood, you know, balsa baits and stuff. Most of the flat sides that I use are the Lucky Craft 1.5 Kelly Jordan. I call this a flat side, but I don't really know if you consider the Little John to be a flat side square. It is a flat side. It's not really the same category of bait in my opinion, but that is a flat side square bill as well. And then obviously 6th Sense makes a really, really good one. And that's the one that I'm probably most familiar with because I've used it for years. Even long before I ever filmed YouTube videos, I was using the 6th Sense flat side square bill. And so the only thing I noticed with this, as you can see in the video, I just hung it up twice in a row, back-to-back casts. It hangs up like crazy, and it doesn't unhang itself. I like a crankbait. I think this Little John I'm very familiar with, and you can see this one's pretty chewed up. It'll hang up, but it'll unhang itself, or you can just get it through cover really well. It seems like this one really doesn't, and not a giant fan of that. I'm not going to... Don't base your opinion of this bait just off this one statement that I'm making, because I haven't fished with it enough to, you know all the tricks about it. But it has a really nice action, but it hangs up a bunch. So I don't think I'll probably be throwing it too much longer. I think I'm going to go back to the 6th Sense one and have the Little John tied on. Those are my 2 favorites. I just had a ton of success with these, and so I wanted to give it a fair shot, but I'll probably be hanging it up and going back to this one when they're wanting a little bit smaller bait, and then the 6th Sense one when they're eating pretty good and they'd like a bigger bait. So that's that. The other thing that is important, and I've been doing this a bunch recently, I haven't really talked about it, but I have been getting a bunch of comments about it, is my boat doesn't have, you know, like your tackle, like when I had the old Triton or the old Rangers, there'd be some sort of like ledge here that you pile baits up on, and I'm a huge fan of that, just because I'd always keep, you know, one, I'd keep some stuff that I need handy right there. A couple jigs, a couple swim baits, a square bill or 2. And so there's some things that were there that were on purpose, but some things that were there, it was just a catch-all. You know, you cut something off, you toss it down in there. And so what I've been doing recently is have this lure lock box, and I bought a brand new one to show y'all. But what I've been doing, like obviously I've just put this one in here for the video, so this is what my boat has been looking like. And when I get done tying, when I take off a bait, I've just been tossing it in this box and using it as the same catch-all that I have been using in my, you know, in a big boat. So it just is a catch-all. The difference, in my opinion, in this lure lock box being down here on the floor versus the catch-all is, I know good and well, and y'all probably, I know that y'all do this too, that catch-all will be full of baits all season long and you never take it out. In my opinion, I like this lure lock doing the same thing, because at the end of the day, I've been taking this box back inside and then putting it all back in the tackle boxes that it belongs in. Some of these tackle, you know, some of the baits in this don't belong in my boat year round, and so I'm able to just grab this, go back to all my tackle storage, and unload it at the end of every single trip, and that has been working really well. I keep a couple baits in there like jackhammers, couple topwaters, and a chatterbait in there that I'm going to use pretty much all the time, or at least when I have it in my boat at all times. But it's cool to be able to just take this lure lock box out after every single trip and get all the clutter out of my boat. I like to be clutter free as much as possible. I think you fish a lot better. And especially with having Coco in the boat and having Hannah in the boat from time to time, you don't want to have just junk laying around that you can step on, or Coco could step on or sniff. So that's important to me. And I wanted to show you guys the box that is that one. This is the lure lock. They used to call it 4-in-1. Now I think they call it deep I don't remember what it's called. I'll put the link in the description, but it's the 4-in-1 box. And the reason it's called 4-in-1 is because it's got all these different options. As you can hear in the pack, that's got a bunch of dividers. But what I'm doing, taking this box, and this one you can actually use for other things. This one has the other trays inside of it, but I'm going to take these trays out. For this scenario, I'm just going to take the trays out and use the empty box by itself. But the cool thing is with those trays, I think I've showed y'all this in the past. Let me pull it up real quick. If you want to use those trays, as you can see here, I've got a lot of different crankbaits, like all kind of square bill size crankbaits. So here's a lot of 6 cents, random 6 cent stuff. And then here's a lot of Lucky Craft and some Spro Little Johns. And then the bottom is like some 2.0s, 3.0s, fat BDS 3s, BDS 4s, just a lot of those kind of a little bit bigger square bills. And so this box never leaves my boat pretty much all year long. And I utilize those trays really because they're very useful. And so anyhow, that's just a little tip. It was one of my favorite things in tackle storage that I do, and I know a lot of you have asked me about it in the past. So I wanted to share that. I do have a discount code for 20% off on Lure Lock. And so if you guys are looking for cool tackle, make sure you check out the guys from Lure Lock because they make really good stuff. And as you can see in my tackle storage, the deep box makes a really good big swim bait storage. As you can see here, there's my big swim bait storage. And then in here is all my Lure Lock boxes. So this one just came from here. Oh, this camera's probably gonna fall. And then this one goes, told you. Those go back there. My swim bait box goes right there. And then I got a random. All right, so that's how pretty much my tackle side is stored. Everything is in Lure Lock boxes, just like that. I've got this old Tupperware box that I keep my spinnerbaits in, and then I've got this old Plano box that I've had for years and years. That's just a little narrow box that I keep my packs of hooks in, and it's worked out for me for years very nicely. But remember, if you guys want to use any Lure Lock stuff, you can check out the link in my description to go to their website and save 20% off if you use the code DC20 on their site. Yeah, other than that, my next 2 videos probably not going to have too much fishing involved in them because there's a couple of cool updates in my life regarding business, regarding personal stuff, and yeah, that's what we're going to talk about in the next couple of videos. So they will be coming out. One will be out this week for sure. One will be out next week. And it's going to be 70 degrees this Wednesday and Thursday. So I'm going to try my best to go fishing and take advantage of that awesome weather while we can. But the tea company is growing really fast, and it's intimidating. We just hired like 6 new people the other day. And so that's fun. They're all starting this Monday, which is probably the day. They're starting this Monday, so that's all very exciting. And yeah, I think that's probably about it on this video. One thing I wanted to say, I don't know if I've said this in any of these videos yet, but recently I did a giveaway, and you had to comment something that you learned from me on my channel at any point in time. And some of my OGs from the channel told me about this hat that I used to wear. It was my lucky hat, so I brought that out of retirement. But one thing that's really special that a lot of people told me, or there was a couple comments specifically, but they're all the OGs of my channel, is talking about buying fishing tackle in the off season. And that comment meant a lot to me to be able to read it because that's something that I'm so adamant about. Buy your fishing tackle in the off season is the most important thing. I've talked about this a million times, but in the summertime, go ahead and stock up on a couple jerk baits that you know they're going to be sold out of. In the wintertime, go ahead and buy a couple spinner baits, buy a couple topwater baits, buy a couple big crankbaits, stuff that you know in the summertime they're going to be biting, because in that time of the year that you need them, they're always going to be sold out. Go ahead and buy a couple white menaces, you know those are going to be sold out. Go ahead and buy some junior Z-Crawls, you know those are going to be sold out. Buy the baits that you know are going to sell out in the season that you need them. Go ahead and buy them 4 or 5 months early before anyone else thinks about it, and I promise you it's going to pay off dividends, because I know I've got fishing tackle right now that people are looking for that should have bought it back last summer when they were in stock, and it just makes sense to me. I want to make sure that I can buy the fishing tackle when it's available before I need it, and try to look out in advance. Makes you spend a little bit too much money and makes you kind of have it as a, you know, got a little cash tied up in some inventory, but it's worth it when they're biting it and you've got it. It's worth it. So anyhow, that's my last tip of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for following me and my fishing adventures, my life adventures, my business adventures. If you haven't had any Y'all Sweet Tea, please make sure you go check it out at y'allsweettea.com. That's the biggest thing I've got going right now, and it would be the most supportive if you guys from my fishing community would go over there and support my business opportunity with Y'all Sweet Tea. Again, if you need anything from any of my sponsors, check out the link in the description, and I will see all of you on the next video.